Welcome back to On the Horizon by Gentlemen United.
Welcome back to On the Horizon by Gentlemen United. Today, I wanted to talk about business intelligence, analytics, and specifically where I see the next stage of evolution going. Howard Dresner coined the phrase business intelligence, and this technology has been around for years. But first, a bit about me. I earned my PMP certification over 15 years ago. I've worked in various industries, including financial services, wireless and long-distance telecom, and supply chain management, just to name a few. As an FTE and consultant for over 15 years, I've directed an IT PMO, managed literally dozens of complex, high-profile enterprise-wide programs in 2 countries and in 2 languages. I've worked very closely with geographically dispersed teams, including executive sponsors, multiple lines of business, including call centers, operations, legal, sales, and marketing, development, testing, production support, a wide variety of subject matter experts, vendors, and end users. I've managed multiple BI initiatives and have extensive hands-on experience both from the conceptual whiteboard level through development, execution, post-implementation support, and of course practical application. Now from my perspective, while the technology has come a long way in the last 15 years, realizing the true value proposition of BI still has a ways to go. The difference now is that with the advent of SaaS cloud computing and cloud BI, what was once a multi-million-dollar IT investment by big corporations is now a technology that is widely available, easily scalable, and more importantly, very affordable. Small and mid-sized companies now have the capacity and the capability to compete with much larger organizations for their pieces of the marketplace. Templated BI solutions allow smaller players to quickly enter the market and carve out their niches. No industry is immune to the disruption that BI introduces to the playing field. However, the most consistent and effective use of BI technology is isolated primarily to the front office lines of business like sales and marketing, R&D, operations. For the most part, BI has been an IT supported function, and the focus of IT has been creating custom dashboards and reports, which are mostly static outputs from BI database queries. By the time you get your report, the data is already stale. Studies show that in spite of the very rich potential for other lines of business, and executives in particular, very few have really taken advantage of this technology. Some speculation is that the Hippo rule, highest paid person's opinion, still drives strategic decision making at the executive levels. Other speculation is that because of its very technical nature, the decisions around assessing business needs for BI, evaluating and investing in a myriad of solutions available are relegated to IT to deal with. With the changing face of today's workforce, the influx of millennials, the general shift is already changing the way business is being done. Is the Hippo paradigm going the way of the dinosaur? How will this generational shift impact decision making in the not so distant future? How is it impacting decision making right now? And what do competitive businesses need to do to remain competitive? Where does that put Gen Xers who straddle the generational chasm between the baby boomer nose to the grindstone work ethic and the collaborative social media savvy millennials? While this isn't intended to be an observational piece on intergenerational office dynamics, it is important to consider that there is a parallel between shifting technologies, the pace at which they're being consumed, and the competing paradigms between the older executive level generation work style and the up and coming creative generation's approach to their work. What's missing in all of this, and what I see as the next stage in BI evolution, is simplifying the user experience around analytics, extending the value proposition across the enterprise, the generational divide, and creating a true information democracy, another term coined by Howard Dresner. This is the Holy Grail. Building intuitive user interfaces to sit on top of artificial intelligence and machine learning components is the next phase in the evolution of BI. Essentially, the user and allowing the user to easily integrate and consume data-driven insights without having to understand the technology behind it. Sounds pie in the sky, heard this 1,000 times before. Fair enough. What does this all mean to the layperson, the non-technical user? Okay. Do you ever wonder how Netflix knows just which movies to recommend for you to watch next? Or when Amazon Prime suggests 5 other products that you're most likely to want to buy, along with the product you just put into your virtual cart? How about when you use Siri on your iPhone to get directions to a restaurant for dinner, and she asks if you want the phone number or whether you just want to call her to call ahead for you? You already use business intelligence and analytical tools via a user-friendly interface. So user-friendly, in fact, that you don't even know you're using it. This is the key to success, not just in the BI space, but to your strategic decision-making. These are very sophisticated implementations of business intelligence and analytics technology. But the way that you use it makes the technology virtually invisible to you. That's what allows it to be quickly and easily consumed by millions, no matter how technologically astute the end user may or may not be. You see, their knowledge of the technology is not required for them to derive immediate value from it. And because of that, the barriers to purchase for these products is lower, as is the cost to advertise and sell these products, which allows greater room to compete on price point because you've now freed up margin to allow you to remain competitive. However, this strategy will be short-lived as competition adopts similar technologies. Margins will narrow, and unless you're offering a unique product or service, you will have to resort to differentiation of product or service offerings, growing your niche markets. The simpler the user experience becomes, the faster you can extend its use to the rest of your enterprise and beyond. The timeless question, which hardware and software do we need to invest in, and how much is it going to cost me? This paradigm is dated, massively expensive to undertake, and ultimately an ineffective approach to incorporating business intelligence and analytics into your value chain. It is the wrong question. The right question is counterintuitive. What do you want to be able to do? The what? Okay. You want to be able to increase your product sales in your bricks and mortar locations by targeting your loyal customers. Now the how. The solution could include geospatial fencing, your GPS location, customer accounts with your own mobile app, and Apple Pay proximity sensors that will tell you when I approach the cash register in your store. When I'm in the vicinity of your store, your solution could then allow you to then proactively send me a custom message with a digital coupon for a discount on my favorite products. What you want to be able to do narrows and quickly narrows the BI and analytics solutions you need to evaluate. But you've got to start with the what. I'd equate it to taking your car to the shop for service. Do you ask the mechanic, what tools do you have, before you give them your list of things to be done? Do you then adjust your list based on their answers? Or do you just give them your list of to-dos, have them evaluate the costs of your to-do list, then call you to give you an itemized costing, and then you give them the go-ahead to proceed on your approved list and associated costs before the work begins? Do you want to offer your users the ability to place repeat orders for something they bought for their mother on Mother's Day using Amazon Prime by simply asking for it? Okay. The how to this question would be the technology that is used to allow you to seamlessly interact with the BI solution to order your perfume using natural language analytics. You use natural language to create your order or query, and your Amazon Echo responded with natural language to confirm your order, also known as natural language generation. This same concept is used for Google voice commands, voice-activated IVRs when you call your bank, and even the iTranslate app on your iPhone that allows you to speak in English, have it translate your statement into the language of your choice, and then read it back to you. Which tool is the best tool depends entirely on what you want to do. The what comes first. This requires vision and leadership. This is where you differentiate yourselves from the competition. However, vision requires insights. Consuming ever-increasing volumes, velocity, and variety of data is not just a nice-to-have, corner-of-the-desk pet project. It is the means by which your competitors are taking away your market share right now. But the absence of the ability to easily derive insights from your gold mine of actionable data is the barrier to gaining this competitive advantage. Today, this is manifest in the forms of static reports, dashboards created by IT, bots, and IoT, the Internet of Things. This is an evolutionary step in the quickly changing landscape, and if you rest your laurels here thinking that you've covered your bases, your more nimble competitors will blow right by you. But the conversation has to start at the very confusing and sometimes frustrating place of, what do you want to be able to do? Answering that question with another question like, well, can we do this with the tools we have? And trying to determine what else we need to buy in order to be able to accomplish it is the old paradigm. And it has proven time and again to take exponentially longer to get to an answer, costs exponentially more as a result, evolves and becomes more complex over that time, and then quickly surpasses any reasonable possibility for return on investment. Essentially, it's dead before it can get off the ground. And invariably, after time and budget is spent, and all this is ironed out, the solution is already outdated, and you are now further behind in the BI space race. The results are the opposite of the goals that you set out to accomplish. Also, this model presumes that you have a BI solution or having a BI solution and a business intelligence competency center are nice to have fads, a shiny new toy. The reality is that while this was once the case at the turn of the 21st century, this is no longer the case. It's table stakes. The user experience based on a seamless user interface is where the story must begin for those organizations that want to remain relevant and ultimately competitive. Millennials understand this implicitly. The Gen Xers see the disconnect as plain as day. The baby boomers are in a position of authority and have an opportunity to take advantage of these hungry and focused younger generations by considering and adopting this new paradigm. Cutting out the noise and realizing this, in my opinion, is the key to surviving and thriving in the 21st century. The saying that the definition of insanity is doing the same thing over and over again, but expecting a different result, well, that applies here. Missing this opportunity leaves the door open for nimble, small and medium-sized businesses to build their customer bases by focusing on their niches, essentially your loyal consumer base, leaving you with virtually no means of survival on the basis of differentiated service offerings. Those niche markets are leaving in droves and are leaving price differentiation as your only real means of competing. Essentially, selling your products like the DVDs in the $5 clearance bins. So recap, there are 3 takeaways here in my opinion. 1. A fundamental shift in the prevailing paradigm of what before the how. 2. Leveraging your Gen X resources to bridge the generational gap and maximize the productivity of your younger resources. And 3. Focusing on making the BI analytics invisible to your internal and external end users by understanding and simplifying the user experience. The simpler the experience, the faster you get to making strategic and tactical decisions based on actionable data. This is already on the horizon, and acting fast isn't an option or a consideration anymore. It is necessary for survival. Final thoughts? Agree? Disagree? Feel free to add your comments or questions below in the comment bar. I'm Sean Best, and thanks for stopping by.
Like what you saw? Like, share, comment and subscribe. Thanks again for watching On the Horizon.